So guys, what is going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are keeping well. Let's get into it. Let's talk a bit of boxing. Guys, I got asked on my Instagram. By the way, subscribe to my, or not subscribe, but follow my Instagram page, Imran Mir Boxing TV. It's in my bio. I've got over 500 followers now. So yeah, go and follow my Instagram page. I post all my videos on there as well. Yeah, so just go and give me a follow. I'd appreciate it. Okay, so let's get into it. I got asked on my Instagram page about the business side and the fact that, Crawford and Pacquiao were under the same umbrella, and why the fight never happened. What was it? Crawford's been calling for a Pacquiao fight. Pacquiao said he would fight Crawford as well. What stopped it? Listen, there could be a number of things. Firstly, it could be financial. It could be the fact that, there's not enough money in there for Pacquiao. Pacquiao may want a certain number, and unfortunately, at that point, Crawford wasn't a big enough draw. Now, we know Crawford, the problem with Crawford is pay-per-view numbers aren't great. And Pacquiao pulls a huge he does huge pay-per-view numbers. And when you're in Pacquiao's shoes now, especially when you're at the end of your career, because when Crawford got onto the scene, Pacquiao was at the, end of his career, Pacquiao's more in it as a businessman. Although he's always been a warrior throughout his career, he's also looking at it from a financial business risk-reward ratio kind of thing. And Crawford, unfortunately, financially didn't bring the dough that Pacquiao wanted at that point. And that's why really, I think also it could be down to that, the fact that there was not enough money in the fight. And I also feel that I just don't know whether Bob Arum says he wanted the fight. But also, you got to look at it that Pacquiao was coming towards the end. It was a risky fight for Crawford as well, because even at that point, Pacquiao was still dangerous for someone like Crawford, And Bob Arum, if Crawford had lost, would be losing a guy that he thinks is one of the best. But I don't think it's down to that, because I think Bob Arum would deep down know that Crawford may not go on to become a huge star in terms of profile. He's a huge star in terms of how good he is, but he's not a huge star when it comes to driving pay-per-view sales. So maybe he was confident that Crawford would beat Pacquiao, right? And that would make Crawford a pay-per-view star. I think that's what they were trying to do. They were trying to get that fight so then they can, as I said earlier, piggy bank of Pacquiao's name and make Crawford a huge star. Listen, I don't mean that in disrespect. I just mean that I just think a lot of these guys kind of want to piggy bank of Manny Pacquiao's name because he's a huge star, huge draw by beating him. It's not the fact that by beating him, is like at this stage in his career, he's going to get a shed load of credit, because people know Pacquiao's not what he was. But it's the profile. It's the fact that you're beating a legend. It's the fact that his fight and the publicity that Crawford would get from that fight would be massive. And that could take Crawford's career to another level. As we know right now, Crawford's career in terms of profile-wise hasn't really gone where it should have gone, really. For as good a fighter he is, profile-wise, he's not that well known, really. Even in America, around the world, like he should be for a guy as talented and as good. There's guys that haven't achieved as much that are way more popular than Terence Crawford and well known than Crawford, which, someone was saying to me, well, listen, skill. Profile doesn't mean anything. Well, it does, because obviously the bigger you are, the more money you're going to get, the more you're going to be earning. So profile is everything to a boxer. Remember, these guys have a short career, and earning money is the most important thing. And so profile is very important in this game, because the bigger your profile, the more money you're going to get. Like I can't see Crawford in his career earning even a fraction of what Pacquiao earned, because Pacquiao just didn't have skills. He had a profile. And let's be honest, Pacquiao didn't talk much. But yeah, he was adored. Yes, don't get me wrong. He was come from the Philippines, where he's seen as like an icon. You know, he's got a whole country behind him, which Crawford hasn't got, because Crawford's an American, and Americans don't really get behind American boxers like that, really. You know, they've got other sports, and boxing's not that big a deal there. You know, the heavyweight champion of the world, Deontay Wilder, was heavyweight for so long, and he didn't really get any kind of, he didn't even get that kind of, you know, that kind of fame, the publicity that you expect an American heavyweight champion to get. But when you look at someone like Mike Tyson, look at the fame that he got. Look at the, you know, I think after Muhammad Ali, he was probably the second most well-known global boxer of all time. I think he's the most well-known boxer after Ali, Mike Tyson, you know, globally. And he's American, so I don't quite understand what's happened with American boxing. I don't know why the fighters aren't as popular. I don't know why the fighters aren't as famous as they were back in the day. It doesn't make sense to me. With America being such a big country for boxing, I just don't know what's going on. Maybe it's the fact that there's other fighters fighting in America as well. But again, I just think US boxing on overall is quite weak in terms of there's not a mega American star. Like Canelo, he's Mexican-American. Oh, I don't even know he's whether American. I think he's just Mexican, you know? And really, there isn't, from America, who's a big star? Like Floyd Mayweather's gone. Who's a big star? You know, like, I don't think there's anyone. Wilder, he was getting there, but then he lost. So I don't really know what's going on with the American side of things in boxing. Because here in the UK, if you look at how big some of the big UK fighters here, they're massive, huge names. You can just tell by their social media profiles and followings. You know, a lot of the UK boxers have a way bigger following than the American boxers on social media. And that tells me everything, really. That tells me a lot that, you know, boxing in America is not that big. And yeah, I personally think that's what stopped the Pacquiao fight. I just think the fight wasn't that big, and risk to reward ratio just wasn't that much for Pacquiao. I think Pacquiao wasn't going to earn huge amounts of money fighting Crawford, because Crawford was well known. And I just think that I just think Crawford's profile, unfortunately, for some reason, hasn't really taken off, and it's sad, really, because he's a world-class fighter, Crawford. But his profile, for some reason, I don't know why. I don't know why there's not. I don't know why they're not able to take him. I don't know. It's a weird one. It's a really weird one. It's a really weird one. But it's not really a problem with Crawford. It's with every American fighter. Like I said, Wilder had a big issue, and he's a heavyweight. You know, I just don't understand. I just don't understand, you know. I think Floyd Mayweather was a freak in the sense that he promoted himself so well. He was a great self-promoter, and he just took himself to another level. But these guys, unfortunately, are not able to do that. They're not as good as self-promoters, nowhere near the self-promoter Mayweather was. And their careers, they're great fighters, but they're not well known. You know, you have to be hardcore boxing fans to know who Terence Crawford is. You don't have to be a hardcore boxing fan to know who Mayweather is. Or you don't have to be a hardcore boxing fan to know who Mike Tyson is. But you have to be a hardcore boxing fan. Like, I've got a friend, to be honest, he's not that much into boxing. If I was to say Terence Crawford, he wouldn't know who he is. And that shouldn't be right for a guy that's that good. Casuals should know who Terence Crawford is. Like, people that don't even watch boxing should know who Terence Crawford is. And it's not good, really. It's not good. And it's because what you got to realize is the reason why it's not good, it doesn't matter if a guy's not that well known, but it stops these big fights from happening. It stops fights like Pacquiao, Crawford from happening, because Crawford's not that big a star. The pay-per-view numbers aren't going to go through the roof. The money Pacquiao is going to be offered for the fight is not what he's going to be looking for a fight of that magnitude and that tough, a fight that he feels is that tough. Because Pacquiao's not stupid. He knows the Crawford fight's a tough fight. You know, he's not going to take it for peanuts, like, or what he's going to get for fighting Jesse Vargas, or what he's going to get for fighting other guys, because he knows Crawford's way better than that. Or fighting Jeff Horn, he knows Crawford's on another level to that. So the money should be similar to the risk that he's taking, but unfortunately, it's not. I don't feel anyway. You know, I don't feel anyway. And yeah, I just think I think now, maybe, I think the fight will probably be biggest if Pacquiao was to fight Crawford now. The fight would be at its biggest. But again, with this pandemic, how much is he going to be offered? How much can they pay him? How big is the fight? I don't know. And I don't personally think I don't think, before I thought Manny Pacquiao would fight one of Crawford or Spence, I don't think those fights are going to happen, to be honest. I think Manny Pacquiao may fight Mikey Garcia, have a payday, then maybe fight Conor McGregor, then maybe call it a day. I hope he fights McGregor. I'd love to see him get a huge payday on the way out. All this stuff about, it's not good for boxing, bull crap. We see all these guys doing these other things. Manny Pacquiao deserves a big payday to finish off his career. But yeah, it's sad, really, because I would have loved to see Pacquiao Crawford. I think it would have been a terrific fight. Even with Pacquiao at the end of his career, I still think it would have been a terrific fight. But Pacquiao in his prime, I don't think it would have been a terrific fight, because I think it would have been one-way traffic in terms of Pacquiao. I think would have blitzed him. Personally, that's just my personal opinion. But I think now it would have been a 50-50 fight. You probably favour Crawford slightly, but again, it wouldn't shock me if Pacquiao beat Furman, who I believe is a very tough fight for Terence Crawford, not an easy fight. So yeah, I think for me, unfortunately, I don't think this fight's going to happen. It should have happened, but I just think the profile of Terence Crawford probably wasn't big enough for them to generate the kind of money that they needed to generate to make that fight happen, or to make the numbers work. I just don't think it was big enough. So it's unfortunate. And it would have been an epic fight. It would have been one of the best fights in the world. And like I said, I would have thought that that would have been a hard fight for Crawford. Would have been a hard fight, because Pacquiao's got a great chin. Although Crawford's good and he's skillful and he could box and move and make it difficult, I still think that Pacquiao's got a great chin. He's very fast. He punches hard. That would have been a tough fight for Crawford. That would be no gimme or easy fight. And I think if Crawford was a bigger star, I think we would have got a huge mega fight. Fortunately, it didn't work out, and I don't think we're ever going to get it now, because I think they're on the other side. Well, Pacquiao's not with Aram. I don't know whether Pacquiao's a free agent, but I just don't think we'll get that fight. I think if there's any fight that Pacquiao would fight out of Errol Spence and Crawford, I think it's Crawford. But I don't think, personally, I don't hold my breath for any of those fights. I don't think it's going to happen, if I'm honest. Before I thought that, maybe Crawford, Spence fight each other and then Pacquiao fights the winner. I don't see that happening, if I'm honest with you. I think Pacquiao's going to probably fight Mikey Garcia, then fight McGregor, and then probably finish his career, I think. I don't see him fighting Spence or Pacquiao, if I'm honest, especially with this pandemic that's come. I think he's getting older. I can't see it, if I'm honest with you. But who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Pacquiao fights one of them. I don't know. He's definitely not going to fight both of them. If he's going to fight, it's going to be one of them. But I can't even see that, to be honest now. I think as the days are going by, I think Pacquiao's getting older. And I just don't see it. I think a fight that makes more sense. Even with Pacquiao, we don't know what he's doing. Is he going to fight again? I think so, because otherwise I think he would have come out and said something. I don't think he's going to call it a day, because otherwise he would have said something. And I don't think Pacquiao's ready to go yet. I think Pacquiao still feels he's got something left, So I think we're still going to see Pacquiao fight. And I think we're going to see him in some big fights as well, some big money fights for him, and some entertaining fights, hopefully. But leave your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think. Why do you think Crawford-Pacquiao didn't happen? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Or Pacquiao-Crawford, why do you think the fight didn't happen? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. And guys, remember to please like, share, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.